Hi betting experts, on Friday the 19th of June we're off to Royal Ascot, day 4, a really cracking and compelling day's racing, very competitive, the ground's still on the easy side of good, there's more rain forecast, it's impossible to know how much we're going to get, there's been showers through the week, but the ground's held up pretty well, it's in terrific nick. We start off with our value angle selection, the 3 o'clock, this is the Hardwicke Stakes over nearly a mile 4, a Group 2 for 4-year-olds and upwards. £74,000 on offer to the winner, and the one I really like is Mark Johnson's LR Cam. Now this 5-year-old has always been held in the highest regard at home. He's probably the best horse there work-wise. He hasn't always delivered on the track, but he did win 3 times in 2019, twice in listed contests and then in a Group 2 Sky Bet York Stakes at York in July when beating a Dayeb on soft ground. A really impressive performance that worked out well and proved that he handled cut in the ground. I thought he was a rather unlucky loser after 267 days off at Haydock in the rescheduled Brigadier Gerard Stakes at the start of June, just short-headed by Lord North there, who certainly had a tactical advantage, nipped 3 lengths clear 2 furlongs out, while Alarcom was rather briefly tapped for a bit of foot and then ran on strongly in the closing stages. I thought it was a very promising reappearance. The extra 2 furlong trip here will suit him, I believe. Now he's a more mature horse, he settles really well, and I think there could be some more improvement to come over middle distance. This season. The main danger is likely to come from Anthony Van Dyke, who was certainly an eye-catching loser on his seasonal reappearance when finishing second behind Gayath at Newmarket in the Coronation Cup. The winner given plenty of rope there at a blistering gallop, and Anthony Van Dyke, who was very easy in the market that day, part wide out of his ground but stayed on strongly in the closing stage. The only thing I'll say about Anthony Van Dyke is he won the Derby in June 2019. He's been chinned 6 times since, and reports of his homework haven't always been that wonderful. I think he's not an easy horse to train, and I certainly couldn't dream him at a short price for this contest. Elacum at 9-2 with William Hills is much preferred. For our nap of the day, we go to the 225. This is the Norfolk Stakes, a Group 2 for 2-year-olds only, over 5 furlongs, £29,600 on offer to the winner, and I do think Eye of Heaven at around 3-1 would be one of my stronger bets of the week. Again, trained by Mark Johnson, who we've mentioned is in terrific form. His strike rate's nudging 17% since racing resumed. He's absolutely flying. He's had over 20 winners in the last fortnight. Everything going well. He's got a particularly strong hand with his juveniles. This one was hammered in the market for a strong-looking fast ground Newmarket maiden on the 4th of June and did extremely well to win, racing wide, pulling hard, away from the favoured rail but picking up smartly to lead inside the final furlong, setting a track record time in beating Get It, who did enjoy a tactical advantage unable to lead. I think there's loads more improvement to come. Whether he'll handle softer ground is open to conjecture, but it applies to all of them, and most of Johnson's are just resolute gallopers who stay extremely strongly and keep pulling out extra, and I think Eye of Heaven will take an awful lot of beating. Going through the rest of the card on Friday, starting with the 1:15. This is a new race. The Palace of Holyroodhouse Handicap, a Class 2 for 3-year-olds only. Another sprint, 4-1 the field this morning for looking. The 2 I like are Will to Win and Golden Dragon. Will to Win is trained by Simon Criswood, who I very much respect. I think he's going to be a trainer, really going place the next few years. Of course, he trains jointly with his son Ed. It's the first time this has ever happened. Their horses, some of them have been needing a run since returning, but Will to Win is a very progressive horse who was on a roll when we last saw him in the Win 2, winning at Wolverhampton, Southwell and Lingfield over 6 furlongs each time. His latest defeat at the hands of Corvair was a creditable effort from off a mark of 96. I think there's loads more improvement to come back on the turf, and he should go well. He's bound to be fully wound up for this, and I thought Golden Dragon of Stuart Williams is another one entitled to maximum respect. Moving on to the Albany at 1:50, a fillies Group 3. It's a real day of sprinting. This one's over 6 furlongs. I thought Mother Earth of Aidan O'Brien, very significant that this one's been chosen by O'Brien to run in this race. He had a pick of 3 or 4 at the entry stage, and watching her run back at Navan on the 10th of June, it was a very promising run on quick ground. She wasn't strong in the market that day, ridden by Wayne Lorden. She looked Probably not the first string on jockey bookings, but she ran a really solid race. Frenetic Made All and Mother Earth chased the pace throughout and stuck on very strongly in the closing stages. She'll relish 6 furlongs. She's bound to handle softer ground. I think she'll go really close. Satahi was the other one on my shortlist there. Roger Varian, winning debut impressively at Newmarket, despite a bit of a rough trip and not seeing much daylight. She's sure to improve dramatically for that initial experience. On to the 3:35, the Commonwealth Cup, a 6 furlong Group 1 for 3-year-old colts and fillies. I do think this is a terrific opportunity for Pierre Lapin to get going again. He's 4-1 this morning. It's a fair price on form. Trained by Roger Varian, 2 from 2 so far. Really impressive when we last saw him. He started off in May at Haydock, winning by 3.5 lengths, having been hammered down to even money from Visible Charm. Really impressive there, straight in the notebook as a group horse in the making. And then, unusually for Varian, fast-tracked into the Group 2 Mill Reef Stakes at Newbury in September, and again, really impressive under a very confident ride from Atsene. Travelling strongly, one of those races where if you backed him, you knew he'd won after 3 furlongs. He had them all covered and he was just pushed out to make sure. I think he's potentially a very useful sprinter. He'll probably stay further in time. He's starting off here, first run of the season, over 6 furlongs. I'll be disappointed if he's beaten, and I know that the Varian yard will be devastated. They think he's top draw. The 4:10, 7-2 the field again, a competitive race for the Queen's Vase, a Group 2 over 1 mile 6, a staying race at last after all the sprinting, and I preferred Charlie Applebury's Aldebaran here, who's very progressive last season. 2 from 4, he won at Newmarket and Ascot in the spring, and then in September he suffered defeats at Longchamp and Chantilly, latterly on very soft ground in September, but running a blinder when second behind Hopeful in that Group 3. Steps up in trip. He's never been beyond 1 mile 1, so he's right up to 1 mile 6, but the yard know the time of day with their horses. They're all flying, and he should go extremely close. Berkshire Rocco, very much respected of Andrew Balding's, fit well, working extremely well, everything from the yard flying. They're on 18%, and he ran a blinder at Lingfield when second to English King in the Derby trial there. The pair of them miles clear, and I thought Berkshire Rocco was inconvenienced by racing up with a strong pace in the early stages there, whereas the winner was held up out the back. So a big danger, Berkshire Rocco. Hard to split them. I just preferred Aldebaran, who's a much bigger price. And the concluding Duke of Edinburgh Stakes, a handicap over nearly 1 mile 4, 10-1 the field. It looks all of that. It's an extremely difficult getting out stakes. Hopefully we'll be in front by then. But Durston and El Misk formed my shortlist. Durston, David Simcott's progressive handicap, is well suited by this sort of test, and I think the fast pace will suit him ideally, get him to settle in the early stages. If he sees daylight late, he'll be coming home strongly. Again, reports of his homework are upbeat. He's fit well, working well, and strongly fancied. He's 2 from 7 so far. There's more to come. He's a proven winner in soft ground last season at Chester, and I think he'll go extremely close. Best of luck on Friday, betting experts.